Why is it so hard these days to, quote, get it together?
Get it together.
People talk about a fog of war, but there's a fog of panic, too.
Tonight, chaos in the streets of France
have taken a violent and tumultuous
3 million Americans have federal student loans.
$7 trillion in student loan debt.
On top of that, it feels like most of my adult life has either been in an economic meltdown, coming out of one, or on the brink of another. So it's no wonder that getting it together is easier said than done. I polled all of my subscribers, and the top requested video was for me to share some of the habits and strategies that I've used to get my life together in my late 20s and early 30s. But I was never taught any of these things in school or truly understood the implications of not doing this as a young adult. Look, everyone, I'm still a work in progress like many of us, but I've checked a lot of boxes in my life that I'm proud of. In my mid-20s, I was able to hit the 6-figure income level, quit my 9-to-5 job, start a company, and actually scale that to the 7-figure level. This business enabled me to move to the mountains, I got married, and even purchased my first home. So let's unpack some of the pillars that got me here. The first and most impactful thing you can do is start by auditing and removing toxic people from your life. Who you choose to be around you, your spouse, your friends, your business partner, will be the #1 determining factor of your success or failure. Researchers at Washington University found that people with relatively prudent and reliable partners tend to perform better at work, they earn more promotions, make more money, and overall feel more satisfied with their life. It's not like I got to my late 20s and all of a sudden started prioritizing my health, well-being, and success. It's something I always wanted, but when you constantly have people pulling you down that do not have your best interests in mind, it's nearly impossible to do any of the habits or strategies that I'm going to talk about in this video. So before you go out and create a new routine, diet, or business plan, ask yourself this question. The people that I spend the most time with, the people that I call, text, DM, do they truly have my best interests in mind? If not, limit, phase out, or completely remove these people from your life. Next is not eating garbage, and ideally, eating clean. If you eat a meal and you feel like you're in a food coma and you can't move afterwards and you're cramping, this is not food. You are not eating healthy. Food should fuel you, give you energy, and pick you up. It should not put you in a funk with bad digestion, poor sleep, or make you want to take a nap afterwards. I've been eating primarily a whole foods, plant-based diet and limiting the amount of processed ingredients that I eat. I'm not telling you to subscribe to any kind of diet or protocol, but actually look at the label. And if you see high fructose corn syrup, some kind of color dye, run away as far as you can. The game is really limiting processed foods altogether. The simpler the ingredients list, typically the better the food is for you. I just saw a crazy post where they had identical brands producing the same food, but one was in the United States and another was in a country in Europe. They both were marketed as the same food product, but in the US version, there was a paragraph full of ingredients, and in the European version, there was about 5 ingredients. If you don't have your health, you have nothing in life. I learned this pretty quickly when I watched my dad go through a cancer battle that quickly took his life. He was stuck inside, and I would watch him stare out the window and look at the cars driving by and say things like, these people have no idea how lucky they are, what I would do to just be able to drive a car again. The simple things like that he was yearning to do but couldn't do it because his health was gone. In my last video where I showcased my morning routine, which I still can't believe has gotten over 1.5 million views, it's insane. But one very disheartening comment that I saw is people that just simply didn't care about their health. If you don't care about your own health, at least consider the impact it's gonna have on your friends, your family, and the people that are close around you. I wanna be healthy for not only my own selfish reasons, but I don't wanna be a burden to my friends and family around me. They're stuck in a hospital bed taking care of me, and I don't want that. I don't think you want that. So while it might be easier to not take the few seconds to look at the ingredients label, take an audit of what's going on and what you're putting into your body, in the long run, it's simply not worth the short-term convenience for the long-term consequences. And on top of that, you're just gonna feel better. You're gonna be more alive. You're gonna experience more in this world, get more done, hit your goals, all these good things, but nothing can happen if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not eating clean. Next is the simple habit of goal setting. This is probably the most impactful thing on this list, and where I can directly correlate writing something down and seeing it come to life. If I didn't write down exactly where I wanted to be, the things I wanted to accomplish, and reminded myself of it daily, I wouldn't be anywhere in life. I outlined this habit extensively in my last video on Think and Grow Rich. It's a book written by Napoleon Hill that very much outlines success principles that drive you to your goals. I know this guy has been exposed as a fraud, but the principles in this book have deeply impacted my life. In my early 20s, I was making about $14,000 a year. I was living back home with my mom after my dad passed away, and life just was not going in the right direction at all. But after picking up that book and really internalizing the principles he was talking about, the simple habit of goal setting, and most importantly, writing it down every single day, has gotten me everything I've ever wanted. And I don't believe that you can just write something down and magically it happens. Deliberate action must take place in order to turn your dreams into a reality. But every major milestone that I've put pen to paper to and actionable steps to hit it has happened for me. At first, I just wrote down have $50,000 in my bank account because that was literally the example in the book and the biggest number I could think of at the time. That helped me get the job that I wanted, and within a year, I had a $50,000 commission check in my hands. That was the first time I really understood the power of manifestation, and most importantly, writing down your chief aim goal and working towards it. The next one here isn't as flashy, but I wouldn't have my home without it, and that is increasing your credit score. For many years, and especially once I started making good, consistent income, I could care less what my credit score was. It never really impacted what I wanted to do at the time. If I wanted to get an apartment, I just paid a little bit extra. If I wanted to get a car, just paid a little bit extra, and I was still able to get the things that I wanted until I purchased a home. Yeah, you need good credit for that. I had an unfortunate medical incident in my early 20s that put me in some serious medical debt, and I put off the payments, deferred it over time, and you can guess how that went. Not very well, which negatively impacted my credit score. But just in a matter of months, I brought my score up hundreds of points, and it wasn't that hard either. The first thing I did is made sure I wasn't doing anything further to negatively impact my credit score by putting my bills on auto pay. There's no option for failure here. If the bill is due, it's automatically paid, and I'm not a part of that process. Number 2 was disputing old negative hits. So anytime you don't pay a bill, you get a negative credit card hit, or if something gets sent to collections, even worse, that's going to negatively impact your score. You should dispute all of your negative credit score hits to Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and I'll put some links in the description where you can actually do that. Some of them will not come off and they just will keep it on there, but you can at least try, and if you provide a compelling reason or enough time has passed, sometimes these companies will simply drop those things off of your report. Another way you can boost your credit score very quickly is to become an authorized user on somebody else's account. This can be a family member's account, a spouse. You just get on their credit card as an authorized user, and their credit score history will impact your score in a positive way as long as they actually have a good credit score. There's also a bunch of other things I did, which included sending letters, working with a credit score repair specialist, and lowering my overall usage each month. And I'd be happy to go into more details in another video if that's something you'd like. And the last big hack I'll talk about is really taking care of your mental health. I can credit my mental well-being to a few key pillars. Number 1, like we mentioned, eating clean. That's very much going to impact your cognitive function, how you feel, and your mood. Number 2 is getting adequate exercise. So I have a garage gym that eliminates any excuses of the gym being too far away or too expensive or whatever I come up with when I don't want to go. It's right there. I just walk down the hall, go into the garage, and start my routine. I'm also a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Practicing that martial art has not only helped me mentally just due to the physical exercise, but really it's helped me because of the communal aspect of jiu-jitsu. The people I've met and the relationships that I've fostered at this facility has really made me feel more connected and at peace in my life. If you look into the blue zones, these are areas of the world where disease is very low and people live the longest. And while they all do many of these habits that I talked about, they all share this common factor of connection and community. Contrast to this self-isolation, this has been shown to increase anxiety, lower your immune system, and really bring you down in life. And if you're like, hey, Derek, I don't have any friends, I don't know any people in my area, I get it. This happened to me when I moved to the mountains. I didn't know anybody. But one thing you can do that helped me is to start looking for athletic groups in your area. There's either mountain biking groups, running groups, skiing groups. In my case, it was a martial art, but something where it puts you with like-minded people where you can build some bonds, some relationships, and a community. You're really gonna get a 2-for-1 here. You get the mental and physical benefits of exercising and getting after it, but you're also gonna get the longevity and well-being benefits of having community and connection. So if you push yourself just a little bit, get outside your comfort zone, meet some new people, make connections, these things can have a massive impact on your life. Number 3, I'm a big fan of recovery. Saunas, cold plunging, breath work, these things have allowed me to reset, recharge from day-to-day stresses. If you can't afford a sauna, like a barrel sauna like I have, there's many other options. You can join gyms, and most times they'll have one in the facility that you can use as part of your membership. If you can't afford a cold plunge, mine was only about $150. It's just a livestock trough, fill it up with water, and I live in a colder climate, so it freezes over, and it's a nice ice bath at a relatively low cost. But even right now, I just got back from vacation from Florida, and my hose is frozen because it's too cold to fill up the cold plunge. So I'm just doing cold showers right now, and that's working just as well for me, and it's relatively no cost. And the 4th thing that's really helped my mental state is not working a 9-to-5 job. Owning my own business, of course, it has its own stresses, but I would take the worst day as an entrepreneur than the best day of working for somebody else, where I've got to commute, I've got to sit in a cubicle, be under fluorescent lighting all day, punch out, drive back home, be exhausted. I know some people, it's a great option, and working 9-to-5, there's nothing wrong with it, but for me personally, it was just draining me. I always felt like I could be doing more with my life, and just doing one segmented role at a company just felt like I was a cog in the wheel. So owning my own business has really allowed me to take care of myself more than if I was stuck in a 9-to-5. And if you're interested in entrepreneurship, check out the links in the description. I've got some great resources to help you get into this space. And if you're looking for an easy morning routine and some positive habits in general, I highly recommend you check out these 2 videos. My Andrew Huberman Limitless Morning Routine, which has over 1.5 million views, I can't believe it, and my most recent video of how to live your life like a video game. Check it out. I'll see you over there.